Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the FV3805. It's the Tier 9 British SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Prokhorovka, and it's under the command of Oxagon of ENJ0Y, and he's actually in platoon with Salt Collector in the RU251 and Transy in the Unit 16. Game on. Well, 3 marks of excellence on his barrel, and it's the 7.2-inch caliber barrel, and he's moving. This Arty is based on the Centurion, so it's a heavy main battle tank, you might say, hull, but the Centurion, of course, was a medium rather than a main battle tank. It's quite a big beast. They actually made 2 prototypes, but it was cancelled during the development stage. It was they built prototypes in 1957. Now you've got the choice of 3 guns. You've got the 5.5-inch, which is the stock gun, a 6-inch, which is the intermediate one, and a 7.2-inch, which is the top gun. And of course, Oxagon's using the top gun on this occasion. Now that's 182.9mm caliber with 850 alpha, and he gets a hit with his first shot. 296. It'll penetrate. It's got 850 alpha, penetrating 46mm of armor. Standard reload is 35.47 seconds. I'm pretty sure that Oxagon's got a much better reload than that. May actually be under 30 seconds. We'll see any second now. Yes, it's 27.18. He's going for the A phase 1, and he does get a lovely hit run in his front for 372. Nice redeploy to actually avoid the counter battery. Now, in the end, this Arty never actually got built. One of the main reasons why it didn't get built was because there was a tripartite meeting of NATO and other forces that agreed that they were going to use 105mm and 155mm howitzers from there on in. And so this design actually was already outdated by the time they had actually built the prototypes, and sadly it was discontinued. They actually used the vehicles at Shrewsbury as an ammo carrier, or as a mule, you might say. But it is now the original, the only one that's left is actually in restoration. 281 hit points on the Type 5. Now you can see he's moving about a lot to avoid counter battery. The enemy Arty on this occasion is another FV3805, and we don't know how good the player is, so we don't want to tempt him to try and fire at us. So we're just waiting to redeploying after each shot. Rounds out in the A phase 1. Oh, that landed closer to the tank that was behind the A phase 1 than it did to the phase 1. My God, RNG is not being kind at the moment. But over here we've got a T-54 lightweight. Oh, he's died. Didn't survive very long. In fact, it was a Hesh barn, or fridge, as the Polish call it, that killed him. Okay, is that a Hawk 30 or is it T-30? Wow, rounds out. Direct hit, 371, good shot. Changing position. He's already managed to rack up 1,500 hit points of damage already. E75 looks like he's going to be the next target. Now, there were other versions of the FV3805. In fact, it was called originally the FV3802, and that one actually had a 25-pounder gun as its main armament. But that was cancelled in favour of going with the 5.5-inch instead. And they chose the 5.5-inch as the first gun they were going to put into it because it had Hesh rounds. In fact, it could carry 35 rounds of HE and 5 of heat rounds, or Hesh, to attack the enemy. High explosive squash head is probably going to be used quite extensively in the near future. Another direct hit on the T-30. One more like that, he's out the game. Yes, as you may know from the current news, certain tanks have actually been sent to a certain country, and they're probably sending them some Hesh rounds as well to see how well they get on with them. Lost all sight of the enemy. Our team are not spotting. Thankfully, we do have somebody in the RU251 who could actually go and have a quick look for us. Soul Hunter. Or Soul Collector, I should say. Okay, he's having a look. He's found somebody for us. And then phase one. Another direct hit, 261. And he's backing up and moving sideways to avoid any counter battery shot. Have you noticed how we're being boxed in into this area, into this corner of the map? The enemy seems to have captured the entire east side of the map, and they're now trying to cross the railway line. There's a Centurion Action 10 over on the corner. It's a tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks in it. We're going for the A phase 1 again. He's still there. Rounds out. Another hit, 385. Just keeps racking up the damage. Now we're just under 3,000 hit points of damage now. Surprising thing is that Oxagon hasn't got a kill yet, but I don't think it'd be long before he does get one. Rounds out. Oh my god! That shell actually hit the tank that was behind the A phase 1. It didn't hit the phase 1. The phase 1 happened to be close at the moment the shell went into the other tank and he took some splash. So I think he actually got double bubble there. He actually hit another tank at the same time as the A phase 1. And the enemy is now starting to cut straight across and it's about to enter our cap area. Okay, this is where we have a bit of fun because we're going to put permanent resets on these guys, but that barn or house happens to be in the way. Okay, so instead we're going to go for this 1-1. Not sure which this tank is, a 116. One of the new tanks. And shells are zipping past us at the moment, so it might be they're blind firing this corner trying to hit us. Okay, now the 116 has gone into the dip because he doesn't want to get hit by direct fire, but that just gives Oxagon a chance to loop a shell over the top into the ditch if he can. It might help him actually if he goes a bit further to the west to go to grid square A1, because that will help lift the shells up over the ridgeline. Instead he's going for the E75. He's a one shot, he's a kill, and it falls short. That is really cruel. RNG, come on, give us a break. Next target. It's the Object 277. Now, despite the fact that the enemy seems to have most of the map, we're only one tank behind the enemy at the moment, going for the Type 5. Rounds out. And he's out the game. His first kill. That T62A is coming on. Doesn't really care at all. And he's going to get wiped out if he's not careful. He's getting very close to our guys and he's gone. Kill shot went to the TVP T5051. And now we're one up on the enemy. The E75's in sight. He's a one shot, remember? Rounds out. Here we go. Gets his second kill. All of that pressure that Oxagon's been putting on the enemy is starting to pay off. He's starting to yield the kills. It looks like the 116 got wiped out, but he's actually still there. That's not the 116 wreck. He's still in that dip. He's not going to shoot just yet, but that was a rumble of an enemy Arty firing in this direction. Okay, looking to the south, we can see the T-30s come up to the lip of the bowl. And it's perfect for Oxagon because he can loop the shell into the bowl, take out the T-30. Rounds out, here we go. Oh, RNG, you cruel mistress. Unfortunately, it did it again. The shell hit the ridgeline of the bowl and the T-30 escaped being wiped out on that shot. And that's the enemy RT saying, thank you very much. Yes, he didn't relocate after that shot, and the T-30, well, that shot on the T-30 was spotted. And now we're going to have to move over to the far west of the map, or at least get behind these bushes so we don't get spotted. T30 is dead. He goes down to our Heshbon, or fridge. Lodówka. I think I pronounced that correctly. And the Arty's having another go. Now he was able to avoid that one. I think the reason he avoided it mainly because he didn't fire at the T30, because the T30 went down before he shot, so the FV3805 on the enemy team wasn't able to adjust. Oh! That's the third kill, and now he has to adjust because the enemy now knows that he pulled back. I'd seriously consider going over into that corner. Yes, I think Oxagon's thinking the same. Oh, he's moving through the point he was sitting in, but the shell actually exploded behind him. So he managed to avoid that one. Yes, he's much better off over in this corner for the moment. Okay, the enemy is starting to be pushed back. With 3 up on the enemy, they're starting to feel the pressure. Dialing in on the A phase 1, but enemy tanks right down the other end of the map have been spotted, including a Jaeger. Okay, now, let's see here how much pressure we can put on him. Oh, he got the kill! 4 kills now for Oxagon. And he relocates to avoid the enemy getting a shot. This is getting fun. He's up to 4.5, well, nearly 4,500 hit points of damage. But remember, he's got some blind hits in there as well. That A phase 1's moving directly back into his path. Fires the round in. 551 off that shot. He's now close to 5,000 hit points of damage. He's been steadily pumping those rounds downrange to hit the enemy, and it's starting to pay off big time. And there's the enemy Arty. He's been spotted. We're not loaded yet. He's gone. Standard B's next. Rounds out straight away. Oh, and it was a penetrating shot from an armor-piercing round. He picked up 535 hit points of damage. To be honest, I think he might have done better if he fired an HE, because I think it would have gone through the side of the Standard B, and he would have hit for 850. The Standard B's gone. There's only 2 enemies left. They've turned this battle all the way around, and they are now winning thanks to Oxagon's shells going down range. There's just the Heshbon left and the AMX 5120. And there's one of them up on top of the hill, the Heshbon. Lodówka. Oh! Now that was an arm-piercing round, I think, or was it? It certainly sounded like one. I think it was the Unit 16 who got the shot that actually damaged the Lodówka. Just waiting for the HE to load. Here we go. Rounds out. Perfect shot. Oh! Well, it tracked him. And he's taking damage, so we're getting the assist. He's burnt his repair kit, so he can't move until it fixes. And there you go. That's the end of the game. It's always nice to see a game where Arty has a crucial factor in winning the game for the team. That was an ace tanker game for Oxagon in the FV3805. He managed to get a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. A bruiser for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. He also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. And he also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall. At least 20% of the enemy hit pool. And when it's tier 10, that takes some doing as well. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in that game was 5,769 hit points, and it went to Oxagon. The second highest damage in the game went to Tramsey in the Unit 16. He got 4,321. And the third highest went to our Heshpan, or Ludovka. He managed 4,267 hit points of damage. With Soul Collector, he was a little way down the table. He only got 648, but he was spotting. He was a light tank. So after all, you wouldn't expect him to do a huge amount of damage, just spot for a lot of damage. And he did spot. Boy, did he spot. If we look at the number of kills, we can see the highest scorer again was Oxagon with 4 kills. 3 kills went to the TVP T5051, and 2 kills went to the Heshpan and to the T10 and to the AMX50-120 on the enemy team. And we can see that Tramsey only got 1 kill, and of course Soul Collector didn't get any, but this is where Soul Collector really shined because he was doing the spotting. He got 1,541 base experience points in that game, the highest in the game. The next highest was Oxagon with 1,272, and of course he was getting that from some of the spotting that Soul Collector was doing. And in third place was Tramsey with 976. Let's have a look at his figures for Soul Collector. 14,918 hit points of spotting in that game. That is an absolutely incredible score. Very well done. That's why he didn't have a huge amount of damage. He didn't have a huge amount of damage because he was spotting like a champion. That's a brilliant score. Let's have a look at the rest of the details. We can see that Oxagon fired 22 rounds in the game. That's a heavy, fast-firing rate because he was just, the moment he was loaded, he was firing the round downrange accurately at the enemy. 15 direct hits on the enemy, 4 penetrating shots, and 22 splash. Let's have a quick look and see which ones did he penetrate. Well, he penetrated the 116 F3. He also penetrated the standard B in the side with an armor-piercing round. He penetrated and took out the Jagdpanzer, the Jagdpanzer E100, and the A Phase 1 as well. So you can see 4 tanks were penetrated, and he did use armor-piercing rounds occasionally to get more damage on them. 5,769 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit. It was by way of splash. It was the FV3805 who managed to work out where he was. In fact, fired around exactly the spot where Oxagon was located because he didn't move. He stayed where he was to get another shot on the T30. The T30 died before he fired, but he did receive fire from that FV3805. And of course, that just goes to show you need to redeploy and find a new position after each shot just to avoid being counter-batteried. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, 844 hit points of stun assist of 20 stuns. He earned 46,706 credits for the battle, 21,018 from battle payments and 30,000 for mission payments, total of 128,083 credits altogether. After repair and ammunition resupply, he took away a profit of 77,213 credits on a premium account. 1,272 XP, 3,816 from personal missions payout, and 286 for playing in the platoon. Took away 6,010 experience points altogether. That was a really good game in the Arty. It just goes to show that when an Arty player can be really effective for the team in helping them to win, even though they're being crushed into a small area, he keeps the fire rate up, the enemy's going to suffer, and they're going to eventually fold. They did fold, mainly down to the spotting of Soul Collector and the sheer fire rate of Oxagon. So incredibly well done. That was a good game to watch. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.